The story is titled, He Claimed He Was Working Late Every Night. I found his Tinder profile active and looking for fun. I didn't confront him. I just replaced his protein powder with glitter, moved out while he was at work, and left a note saying, Hope you sparkle for your new dates. I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me because of glitter. Well, technically, I found out because of Tinder. The glitter came later, but it's hard to tell this story without starting with the ending playing on a loop in my head. My name's Lauren, 28, female, and until about a month ago, I thought I was building a life with my long-term boyfriend, Ryan, 30, male. We'd been together for 5 years, living in a one-bedroom apartment outside Dallas that always smelled like his pre-workout and my vanilla candles. We had our routines, our shared grocery list, our stupid inside jokes, the kind of quiet, we're basically married life that makes you feel safe and sleepy. Ryan is one of those gym guys, not the cute I like fitness kind, the my macros are my personality kind. When we met, he was still normal-ish, sales rep at a software company, went to the gym after work, posted occasional progress pics like every other guy on Instagram. Over the years, it turned into a whole identity. Protein powder stacked on top of the fridge, shaker bottles everywhere, alarms for supplements. He called it discipline. I started calling it, don't touch my Tupperware or I'll have a meltdown. I work as a nurse on a med-surg floor, so my schedule is insane. 12-hour shifts, nights, weekends, whatever. For a long time, we made it work. He'd leave me little notes in my lunch bag or pick me up when I was too tired to drive after a double. He came to my graduation, Ugly cried, told everyone I was his nurse, like he'd won something. That's the version of him I still grieve, which makes everything that happened feel even more disgusting. About 6 months ago, things shifted. He got promoted to some lead position at work, which apparently came with endless late nights at the office. At first, I believed him. Tech sales is brutal, and he'd always been ambitious. But suddenly, 3 nights a week, he was working late. Then 4, then 5. He'd roll in after 11 p.m., smelling like cologne and fabric softener, not like the stale office air and bad coffee he complained about. When I'd ask, You okay? You're never home. He'd sigh and rub his face like I was exhausting him. Lauren, I'm doing this for us, he'd say. You like living here, right? You like not stressing about bills? Let me grind. And I'd sit there on the couch, staring at the door he'd just walked through, feeling crazy for even wondering why my boyfriend suddenly worked more nights than I did. The thing about being gaslit slowly is you start apologizing for your own instincts. Little stuff kept piling up. Ryan's phone, which used to live face up on the coffee table, suddenly had a permanent home in his pocket or face down on the counter. He turned notifications off because sales chats were annoying. He started showering the second he got home from these late nights, like he couldn't stand having the day on him for one more second. He stopped leaving me notes. It was stupid, but that's what broke me a little. I'd open my lunch at 3 a.m. on a brutal shift and there'd just be Tupperware and a protein bar. No messy Sharpie heart, no good luck nurse bay, just food. Practical. Cold. When I tried to talk to him, he acted offended. I'm killing myself for this promotion and you're mad I'm tired? He snapped once, slamming a shaker bottle into the sink so hard the lid cracked. Protein sludge splattered the backsplash. I stared at it, thinking how it looked like vomit. I'm not mad, I said. I'm worried. Yeah? Well, worry quieter. That night, I sat on the edge of our bed staring at the framed photo on his nightstand, us in Cancun, sunburned and drunk, his arm around me so tight my face is smushed into his shoulder. The frame was crooked. I straightened it and caught my reflection in the glass. Dark circles, messy bun, eyes that didn't trust the man snoring in the next room. The universe answered me 2 weeks later during a slow afternoon on my floor. My friend Megan, 29, female, a nurse I've gotten close to, slid up to the nurse's station with her phone half covering her mouth. Her eyes were huge. Please don't freak out, she said, which, by the way, is a great way to make someone instantly freak out. What? I laughed, because laughing is easier than bracing. She flipped her screen toward me. Tinder. She'd been mindlessly swiping on her break, a familiar jawline, the stupid gym selfie in the mirror I'd taken for him, the gray Henley I bought him last Christmas. Ryan, smiling at me through a dating app, username RyLifts, bio, Just a hardworking guy looking for fun, not looking for anything serious. Discretion appreciated. My vision narrowed. I swear I could hear my pulse in my ears. Active 12 minutes ago. Megan's voice was soft. I thought, maybe it's old, but it says recently active. I'm so sorry, Lauren. I stared and stared, waiting for the app to morph into something else, for there to be some explanation that didn't make my stomach crawl. But there it was. Working late, with his radius set near his office, looking for fun. My first instinct was to call him right then, to scream, cry, demand answers. But I pictured how he'd look, exasperated, rubbing his temples, making me feel insane. Instead, I just handed Megan's phone back, my hand weirdly steady. Can you send me a screenshot? I asked. She did. I saved it to a hidden folder in my photos. Then I went home, sat in our quiet apartment that smelled like his protein and my vanilla candle, and something inside me went very, very still. If he thought I was going to be the crazy, hysterical girlfriend he could talk circles around, he'd badly miscalculated. I wasn't going to confront him. I was going to plan. Update. I did not expect so many people to care about my maybe cheating, maybe gaslighting gym bro, but here we are. I read every single comment last night after my shift, sitting on the bathroom floor while Ryan snored in the bedroom. Some of you were gentle. Some of you were absolutely savage. Girl, that man is a walking red flag with delts. And weirdly, it helped. I felt less insane. A lot of you said, 1. Get proof. 2. Get tested. 3. Do not confront until you're ready to leave. So that's exactly what I started doing. First, proof. I remembered Ryan's Apple ID is still logged in on the old iPad we keep in the living room. I hadn't touched it in months, but my heart was pounding as I plugged it in. When it powered up, Tinder was right there. Logged in, his messages synced. I wish I could say I was surprised, but reading it still felt like being punched. Women, plural, same lines he used on me when we started dating. I'm just so busy with work looking for something casual. We can't text too much, my job is strict. Lots of you up and free after 9? That lined up perfectly with his late nights. He'd even sent one girl a selfie from our couch. My throw blanket in the background. I took photos of everything. My hands were shaking so hard the screenshots are all slightly crooked. Second, I went to urgent care after work and asked for a full panel. The doctor, a guy named Chris, 33, male, gave me that sympathetic look I've been trained to give, and I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I don't have results yet. Just a rubber band bruise around my wrist from the blood draw and a knot in my stomach. Third, I started planning my exit. I texted my cousin Amanda, 26, female, who lives across town. I just wrote, hypothetically, if I needed a place to crash for a bit, would your couch hate me? She immediately called, no questions asked, and by the end of the conversation, we had a plan. She has a friend with a month-to-month studio opening up next week. In the middle of all this, Ryan was in the kitchen, blasting music, shaking his giant tub of protein powder like nothing in the world could touch him. And somewhere between watching him chug his shake and reading a comment that said, if you're gonna leave, leave memorably, the idea just snapped into place. I bought glitter today. Industrial-sized, extra-fine, iridescent glitter. I'm not ready to move yet. I'm not ready to flip my whole life upside down. But I am done playing confused and grateful while he uses our home like a pit stop between dates. He wants fun? Okay, I can be fun. I didn't realize how symbolic glitter was until I was standing in the craft aisle, holding this stupid giant tube like it was a weapon. Extra fine, iridescent, cosmic snow. The kind that never truly washes off. It's pretty from a distance and a nightmare up close. Kind of like the relationship I thought I had. I took it home in my scrub bag like contraband. Ryan was already at the gym when I got in, his late-night text sitting unread on my phone. Big client dinner tonight, probably home late. Don't wait up. I set my phone face down on the counter next to his massive tub of protein powder and just stared at it. He trusted that thing more than he trusted me. Over the next few days, I turned into a quiet little thief. Important documents, my grandma's jewelry, sentimental stuff, slowly packed and ferried over to Amanda's under the cover of dropping by after work. I left just enough clothes and toiletries at the apartment that it wouldn't look suspicious. To Ryan, I was just stressed and moody. He made a few comments about my attitude, but I let them slide off me like water. The distance made him edgy. One night after he came home from the office at almost midnight, he found his laundry basket still full. "You didn't do my gym stuff?" he snapped, yanking open drawers like they'd personally betrayed him. "I worked a 14-hour shift," I said. "You're capable of using a washing machine." He scoffed, slammed the washer door so hard it bounced back open, then kicked it shut. "You know what? Whatever. I bust my ass all day and come home to this." I watched him stomp around, slamming cabinets, and felt weirdly calm. If he wanted a housewife who worshipped his macros, maybe he shouldn't have gone shopping for fun online. 2 days later, I had a rare morning off while he was in the shower. Steam was seeping out from under the bathroom door, his off-key singing leaking through the wall. My heart was pounding, but my hands were steady as I twisted open his protein tub. I scooped out a big measuring cup worth of powder into a mixing bowl, then poured in the glitter. It shimmered like powdered stars. I stirred until it disappeared into the beige dust, then dumped it back in. I did the same with his pre-workout, just enough that it would coat everything he shook and drank. When he came into the kitchen, towel around his waist, he kissed my cheek like he hadn't blown up at me 48 hours earlier. "Leg day," he said, grabbing the tub. "Pray for me." He shook the bottle, added water, chugged half of it in 3 gulps. A faint sparkle clung to his lips and the stubble on his jaw. When he wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, glitter transferred to his fingers. He frowned at them. "Huh, weird." I turned back to the sink so he wouldn't see me smile. "Must be the light," I said. The glitter started slow. At first, it was just a faint shimmer on Ryan's neck when he came back from the gym. Little flecks on his forearms, in the creases of his knuckles when he grabbed his keys. He kept wiping at himself, frowning like his own body was betraying him. "Do you see that?" he asked one morning, turning his head side to side in the bathroom mirror. Under the harsh vanity lights, his stubble looked like it had tiny stars caught in it. I leaned against the door frame, sipping coffee, acting confused. "See what?" He squinted harder, then shook his head. "I don't know, that new detergent or something?" He dragged a towel over his face so aggressively it squeaked. By the 3rd day, it wasn't subtle anymore. Glitter was in the sink, in the shower drain stuck to his toothbrush handle. It dusted the steering wheel of his car, the inside of his gym bag, the rim of every shaker bottle he owned. When he hugged me goodbye one night, a cloud of it puffed off his t-shirt in the sunlight, like he was molting fairy dust. He had another client dinner that night. I already knew it wasn't work because I'd checked the iPad. He had a date with Bree, some girl he'd been calling fun and low drama in his messages. I didn't say anything. I just watched him button his dark shirt, glitter clinging to the fabric like it loved him. "You're sure it's okay I'm out late again?" he asked, doing that faux guilty tone that made my teeth grind. "Yeah," I said. "I might pick up an extra shift anyway." He kissed my forehead. His lips left a shimmer there. Perfect. He came home past midnight, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frame. I was awake, sitting on the couch with the TV low. "What happened?" I asked, trying to keep my voice flat. He was flushed, breathing hard, glitter absolutely everywhere now. It streaked his jaw, his collar, even the backs of his hands. His hair looked like someone had poured a craft store on him. "That psycho at the bar freaked out on me," he snapped, throwing his keys so hard they skidded across the floor and hit the wall. Started yelling that I'd been at a strip club or something, said I was covered in glitter and she wasn't going to be someone's second option. Stormed out in front of everybody. I bit the inside of my cheek so hard I tasted blood. "Were you?" I asked quietly. He whirled on me. "What the hell does that mean?" It was a question. He grabbed his protein tub from the counter and hurled it into the sink. The lid blew off, powder mushrooming into the air, coating the backsplash, the faucet, his already sparkling arms. Now the kitchen actually looked like a strip club exploded. This is the problem," he shouted, gesturing wildly. "Something is wrong with this crap. I'm calling the company tomorrow. I probably ingested plastic or some shit." I stared at him, this furious, glittering man-child blowing up our kitchen, and something inside me finally clicked off. The next morning, my test results came in, negative across the board. I sat in my car outside the clinic, forehead pressed to the steering wheel, shaking with relief and rage. He hadn't broken my body, just my trust. By the end of that day, the lease transfer papers were signed. Amanda's friend's studio was mine starting next week. I picked up boxes on my way home and stuffed them in my trunk. The only thing left to figure out was timing. And what exactly I wanted my goodbye to look like. Update 2. So, things escalated. First off, yes, the glitter is still working exactly as designed. It's honestly become its own character in this story. Ryan looks like a limited edition Twilight vampire every time he leaves the house. It's in his beard, his hair, his car, his gym shoes. I watched him try to scrub his face with one of my exfoliating pads until his skin turned red and it still caught the light. A lot of you said, don't stay to watch the explosion. Protect yourself and dip. Others were like, no, 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 you owe it to Glitter Nation to see the final boss fight. I'm kind of doing both. Here's where we're at. I have the studio locked in. Most of my important stuff is already at Amanda's. I've got screenshots of everything backed up to multiple places. My test results were negative. Thank you to everyone who nagged me to get tested. Some of you told me to tell his dates. I actually did message a couple of them from a throwaway, just a simple, hey, you don't know me, but if you've been seeing a guy named Ryan who works in software sales and is always working late, you might want to get tested. Take care of yourself. I'm not out here running a full awareness campaign, but I couldn't in good conscience just watch him roll the dice with other people's health. The scary part, his temper has been louder. 2 nights ago, he came home furious again because another girl bailed on him mid-date, accusing him of lying about being single. Apparently, glitter plus I can't ever text you after 9 p.m. is not the green flag he thinks it is. He slammed the fridge door so hard a magnet flew off, and our Cancun picture frame slid off the counter and shattered. Glass everywhere. He didn't even pick it up, just stepped over it and went to the bathroom, trailing glitter and protein powder dust. I picked up our broken faces with shaking hands and thought, yeah, we're really done. A lot of you warned me that guys like this can get nasty when they lose control. I believe you, so I'm not going to confront him. There will be no big sit-down conversation where he gets to rewrite history or cry and promise therapy. I've picked the day. It's in 2 days during one of his late nights at the office. I've got boxes, a key to my new place, and one stupid, petty, perfect sentence already written on a sticky note in my bag. Hope you sparkle for your new dates. Moving day felt like a heist. Ryan kissed my forehead that morning, glitter still embedded in his hairline, and said, big client dinner tonight. Don't wait up. I just smiled and handed him his shaker bottle, watching the sparkles catch the light on his fingers as he walked out the door. The second it clicked shut behind him, my whole body exhaled. Amanda pulled up 20 minutes later in her beat-up SUV, trunk already open, music blasting like this was just any other errand. She took one look at me, still in my scrubs from the night shift, hair in a knot, eyes burning, and just wrapped me in a hug. Let's get you out of here, she said into my shoulder. We moved fast. I'd pre-packed most of my stuff into collapsible bins over the last week, labeling them with boring things like winter clothes so Ryan wouldn't care. We grabbed my clothes, shoes, books, the few pieces of furniture that were mine. The framed Cancun photo sat where I'd left it, the glass replaced with a cheap dollar store frame so the shattered one wouldn't look suspicious. I left it behind. The apartment shrank as we emptied it. The cozy, cluttered life I thought we'd built turned into blank walls and dust rings where furniture used to be. His crap still dominated the kitchen. Supplement tubs, shaker bottles, meal-prepped chicken like a sad little army. That's where I left the note. I propped it on the counter, leaned against his glitter-laced protein tub so he literally could not miss it. I stared at the words for a long second, my heart pounding. Working late every night. Tinder profile, looking for fun. I didn't confront you. I just replaced your protein powder with glitter, moved out while you were at work, and left a note saying, hope you sparkle for your new dates. Lauren. Petty, yes. Over-explaining? Probably. But I wanted there to be zero room for him to twist this into some crazy girlfriend story. I wanted the math written out for him. As a final touch, I popped the hood of his car and dumped the rest of the glitter into the air vents. When he turned that AC on, it would snow. We did 2 trips. On the last one, I took a slow lap through the apartment. The indent on the carpet where our couch had been. The faint ring on the coffee table from his pre-workout cups. The spot on the wall where the Cancun photo had hung. a pale rectangle in the shape of a life I no longer wanted. I left my keys on the counter next to the note and walked out without looking back. He called around 11 p.m. I was sitting on the floor of my new studio, surrounded by boxes, eating takeout with Amanda. His name lit up my screen 5 times in a row, then 10. Then came the texts, at first confused, then furious, then downright unhinged. Where are you? What the fuck did you do? Answer the phone, Lauren. Are you out of your mind? The last one. You better not have done something to my stuff. I turned my phone off. 10 minutes later, Amanda's phone lit up. He'd never called her before. Amanda stared at her phone like it was a bomb. Do not answer that, I whispered, even though my heart was slamming so hard it felt like the floor was vibrating with it. She raised an eyebrow, hit accept, and put it on speaker. Amanda? Ryan's voice came blasting through, already halfway to a scream. Where the hell is Lauren? I just got home and the apartment is empty. There's a note on the counter talking about glitter and Tinder, and he cut himself off, breathing hard like he'd run there instead of driven. Amanda's voice went flat in that way I'd only ever heard when she was about to fight customer service. She's safe. What did you do? He snarled. Did you put her up to this? This is insane. She can't just leave. Her name's on the lease. Half this furniture is… You cheated on her, Amanda said. Multiple times. She owes you nothing. The silence on the other end stretched so long I thought the call dropped. Then he laughed, this ugly, hysterical sound. Oh my God, are you serious? She's listening to you? You don't know anything. I work late, I have a demanding job. And now I come home looking like a goddamn disco ball. My car is covered in glitter. It's coming out of the vents. It's in my eyes. Maybe that's the universe asking you to see clearly, Amanda muttered. He lost it. She vandalized my stuff. That's abuse. I could call the cops. I could get her fired. Do you know how unhinged this is? Moving out while I'm at work? Leaving some psycho message? People saw me at the restaurant like this. My boss was there. You've ruined my reputation, both of you. Amanda shot me a look as if to say, You hearing this? I was shaking, nails digging into my palms, but there was also this detached part of me cataloging every word. The way he never said he was sorry. The way his first instinct was threats. Ryan, Amanda said, suddenly calm. You need to stop calling. She's done. If you keep harassing her, we will call the cops. You think I won't find her? He yelled. She can't ghost me. She can't just disappear. We live together. He cut off again, and for a second I thought he'd finally realized how pathetic he sounded. Then there was a loud crash through the phone, like something heavy hitting a wall. You tell her, he panted, that if she wanted to leave, she could have just been an adult about it. Amanda hung up. My whole body felt electric and hollow at the same time. I didn't even realize I was crying until a tear dripped off my chin onto the takeout container. 2 hours later, someone started pounding on the front door of Amanda's building. The sound echoed up the stairwell, this frantic, rage-filled rhythm that made my skin crawl. We peeked through the peephole. Ryan stood there, shirt from work half untucked, glitter clinging to his jaw, his hair, his eyebrows, like it had become part of his skin. Lauren, he shouted, pounding so hard the doorframe shook. Open the door! We are not doing this! A neighbor cracked their own door open, then another. Phones appeared. Someone yelled they were calling the cops. Ryan backed up and kicked the door once, a full-on tantrum, leaving a dirty sneaker print and a shimmer of glitter on the wood. I stood frozen in the hallway, back pressed to the wall, listening to him scream about how irrational I was, how ungrateful, how I'd thrown everything away over some app. He never once said he loved me. The cops showed up fast. I heard them tell him to calm down, to step away from the door. He tried to drag them into it, waving the note, ranting about glitter poisoning and false accusations. One of the officers actually laughed, quickly covered it, but I heard it. Eventually, they walked him downstairs. He threw one last look up toward our floor, glitter catching the hallway light, making his rage look almost theatrical. And then he was gone. I filed a harassment report the next day and blocked him everywhere. Sent my landlord the note and my proof, let them deal with the lease. Weeks have passed. I still find random pieces of glitter on my own skin sometimes, left over from his stuff, from that last frantic day of packing. At first, it made my stomach drop. Now, weirdly, it just makes me smile. Because glitter is stubborn, it clings. It shows up in places you don't expect, long after the party's over, reminding you what really happened. And somewhere out there, Ryan is still scrubbing, still sparkling, still trying to pretend he's not the guy who got left by the nurse who swapped his protein powder for permanent, shimmering proof of who he really is.